and group hugs, so we'll.
You can't have a round of applause.
We can do that.
Let me just say a couple of words about the election. This was an election that was historic, both in terms of its interest and also with its challenges. As we enter the election season, there was a high amount of public concern about a bunch of things, about cyber hacking, about safety and voter intimidation and other potential disruptions of the vote. Of course, about COVID-19 and safety and health and safety at the polls, and concern about finding enough people to actually do the work in this in times of the pandemic. But I'm happy to report that the election, all facets of it, from voting by mail to early voting to election day voting, went well without any significant disruptions. We had a historic turnout. About 180,000 people voted in Durham, of which 118,000 voted at early voting, about 47,000 voted by mail, and that left only about 14,000 people to vote on election day. That was a big change. That's only about 8% of the people who voted on election day. And the percentage of registered voters who voted was about 74%. That compares with 2016, which was also a very high interest election when we had about 68% turnout. So I think all in all, a favorable election. None of the big fears that we worried about came through, and I think a lot of that is due to the careful and thorough advanced work that Director Bowens and his staff did to make it possible. Whenever we had brief problems, for example, there was a power outage caused by an auto accident knocking out power to two early voting sites, but we were ready. The staff had anticipated that. Backup generators were quickly implemented, and there was no significant delay or other disruption to voting. And following up on that, I really want to express appreciation for the many people who worked on this election. These are people who really do not get enough credit for the work they do, particularly this year when they're working in the challenging pandemic environment. As I mentioned earlier, there was concern: can we get enough people to even work at the polls because of these challenges? But we did, and there were many more people who stepped up, who volunteered. We had backups and backups for backups to make sure we had enough people to staff the polls. But these folks have been working. I know personally, every time I've been down there over the past few weeks, working 12-hour days, 7 days a week. They are incredibly dedicated, and they do a wonderful job. Our error rate was minimal. I think we were successful, despite we've had to do some recounts, but there's been almost no change in the recounts that we've conducted so far. But every process of the election depends not only on the director and permanent staff, but on temporary and volunteer staff, and they really step forward. And people on the outside don't appreciate the amount of work that goes in. So I want to make sure they get recognized. We're not finished yet. We have another partial recount to get through this week, so we've been churning away since well before Election Day. And of course, thank you, County Commissioners, for your support, your financial support, logistical, personnel support. It's been wonderful. We've been appreciated working with you. We look forward to continuing that relationship. So thank you for the time, and good luck on the year ahead. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, on behalf of the board, I want to thank you and the Board of Elections for all the hard work that you put into this most recent election. And that was a yeoman's task that you all handled. I know that you were extremely busy over the last few weeks with recounts and so much other work that people don't see. And so we thank you sincerely to the bottom of our hearts for all the passion and all the work that you put into this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Seiler. Appreciate that.
Sure thing. Do any other commissioners have any other comments? Okay, if not, then we will move to the next order of business, which is the election of chair. The floor is now open for nominations for the position of chair.
I nominate Brenda Howerton for the position of chair.
All right. With there being a nomination on the floor, I will hereby submit it to vote of the membership. All those in favor of Brenda Howerton being the chair, please say aye.
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 Well, I tell you what, to be on the safe side, let's do this by voice vote. And I will take the commissioners as I see them right here on my screen. And for Namashina Burns, would you state your vote?
Yes, sir. I say aye.
Okay. Commissioner Howerton?
Yes, aye.
Commissioner Alam?
Aye.
Commissioner Carter?
Aye.
Commissioner Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you. We have unanimously selected Brenda Howerton as chair of the Durham County Board of Commissioners. Congratulations, Chair Howerton.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you from all of you. Thank you, Lowell, for presiding over the Board of County Commissioners.
I'm looking forward to giving it up.
It's always, for 12 years, and with four, this is my fourth election, and it's always such a pleasure to see you do that, because you just kind of take control away from us, and I think it's great to see you do that.
And I so look forward to giving it back.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
I am truly humbled and honored to be elected as the chair of the Durham County's, and probably our state's first all-female board of county commissioners. Now, I believe that Asheville, I want to recognize that Asheville has they may have the first female board, but they haven't been sworn in yet. So I think they don't get sworn in until 9 o'clock. So we can just say that we're the first ones to get sworn in. This is truly history in the making. While serving as the president of the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners, I had the distinctive opportunity to work with all diverse groups of elected officials and leaders across all 100 counties to implement my initiative, which was 100 counties, our children thrive. Helping our children thrive. Even still, as I reflect, I am so appreciative that other counties were inspired, embraced, and worked collaboratively to share best practices and programs and services that positively impacted children's lives. This year brought new and unique challenges to confront. However, today I see many opportunities before us as a board. We have a chance to restore and rebuild confidence in Durham's residents, ensuring ethics, transparency, and accountability are centered in everything we do. This is an important first step to begin the healing process within our beloved community. We can commit to creating and maintaining a culture that supports county government's goal to address the legacy of systemic racism that has blocked progress within our society. We have an opportunity to restore the decency and respect that must be afforded to a manager and a staff. For without these professionals, we cannot effectively do our jobs as elected officials. Whenever I'm out in the community, I'm consistently telling citizens that we do our job as elected officials because of the staff, the great staff that we have supporting us. We also have an opportunity to ensure that we respect staff's time and manage our meetings in a fashion that's timely and professional. As a history-making board, we have an opportunity to demonstrate cohesiveness about how we operate as board members with decency and respect so that we focus on the issues that matter to this community. This upcoming year, we must prioritize the safety and well-being of our community during the ongoing global public health pandemic. We must mitigate the impacts of the pandemic on our local economy and remain fiscally sound while doing so. We must also work closely with our state government and industry leaders. Every area has been affected. To successfully get a safe vaccine to our residents. And finally, we must identify additional ways to build efficiencies in order to reduce the burdensome obligations on our residents during this economic downturn. My personal journey has taught me that through faith, sacrifice, and humility, we can often achieve what seems to be impossible. I look forward to Durham moving forward and out of this pandemic and soaring to new heights. Thank you for the opportunity to serve as your chairperson. Our collaborative approach as a board and with our community partners is paramount. Now more than ever, as we navigate through these uncertain times, I know the Durham community I love will soar and be whole. Thank you again so much. I look forward to serving as your chair, as partners, because there's no I as a board. I look forward to us working as a board. Thank you. So I think the next, this is interesting to facilitate this. I facilitated before 50 commissioners from across the state. So it's interesting to facilitate a meeting with 5 commissioners. So I think the next action will be the vice chair action. And before I ask for that, I do want to say a little something here. You know, across the country, we're in a season where racial equality, racial areas, racial equality, all of those things are really impacting. It has impacted the presidential election. president talks about how he would not have been elected without Black and brown women. So as we look to see the leadership of our board, and we have gotten so many emails about what's happening that I have to be willing to acknowledge what's happening. So as we put nominations on the floor for the vice chair, I have to be willing to acknowledge the people in this community that says Namashina Burns should be nominated as the vice chair. So I'm going to put that forward and then ask for any for a second on that.
You don't need a second if the
I don't need
nomination.
a second. Or do I need to ask for other nominations, which is that?
Well, you can vote on it first and
Okay.
take, the requirement is that there must be 3 votes. And if there are not 3 votes, then you do another nomination.
Okay, thank you. The attorney will set me straight. So I put her name forward and I asked for for votes. You said I don't have to ask for a second?
No.
Okay. So I asked for all in favor, or do we need to call people by name?
Call by name.
Okay, I will start with Heidi Carter.
No.
Okay. Nada Alam.
No.
Wendy Jacobs.
No.
Namashina Burns.
Thank you. I'll say yes.
Okay. And I said yes. It fails by not getting 3 votes. So the next nomination asks for another nomination on the floor.
I nominate Wendy Jacobs.
Netta has, Commissioner Alam, I'll get used to saying Commissioner Alam has nominated Wendy. And we'll start with Namashina Burns.
Thank you, Chair Howardson. Finally get to say that. Each elected official is called to be a leader. You know, we must work to build transparency, to build goodwill, and to build bridges. It was work to build a Durham that works for all its residents and works past dysfunction. And as we look to turn the page and change the narrative of Durham, we must keep those most disenfranchised in mind so that we can get Durham residents back to work both during and after the pandemic. That is a standard. Every resident feels that they have an equal access to the process and equal access to the opportunity to be both productive and prosperous. I'm excited about the fact that we get to vote on chair and vice chair every year, and I look forward to seeing some of those behavior changes. At this current moment, that basic standard has not been met. So we must work not only to exceed expectations, but confound them. At this time, my vote is no.
Okay, Heidi Carter.
Yes.
Netta, Commissioner Alam, did I call on you already? Okay, that was a yes. Wendy Jacobs.
Yes.
Okay, that is, so it's, and mine is no, so that's 3 to 5, 3 to 2. Wendy is vice chair. So that is our business on the election of chair and vice chair. So our next action on our agenda, let's see, I gotta pull up the agenda here.
Chair, Chair
I'm
Howerton,
sorry.
could we have the opportunity for other board members to speak at this time?
Sure.
Thank you. I just want to thank my fellow board members for the honor and privilege of serving as vice chair, and I look forward to working with each and every one of you and to supporting you, Chair Howard, in your role as chair of the board. I just wanted to.
I don't know where that noise, I don't know where that's coming from.
Okay.
We're good to go.
Okay.
I just wanted to share a few words, and other commissioners may well as well. Today, I took the oath of office for the third time to uphold the laws of this nation, state, and the powers and responsibilities of this office. I also took an oath to carry out these duties to the best of my abilities. This is what I have worked to do every day for the past 8 years as an elected representative of the people of Durham. And this is what I will continue to do over the next 4 years. My leadership as a county commissioner is rooted in my fight against corruption and greed that I witnessed in the 751 development that first led me to run for office, and my desire to protect our drinking water. It is rooted in my fight against racism and white supremacy I experienced in the Greensboro massacre in 1979, the persistent child poverty I witnessed in the St. Teresa neighborhood that I worked in as an Operation Break teacher, and my passion for public education as a former parent and teacher. I'm elected to represent the more than 340,000 people in our community, and I especially listen to and be a voice and advocate for those who are most vulnerable. I will keep fighting to create shared prosperity and health and well-being for all that we see playing out in the economic and racial disparities of today, the families and seniors who are struggling to have enough food to eat during this pandemic, those who can't pay their rent because they have lost their jobs to COVID-19, people in our community who cannot quarantine safely because they don't have paid sick leave, or they live in cramped living conditions where they can't safely separate themselves, and workers who can't keep themselves safe at their jobs, children who are struggling at home with learning as their parents are struggling to juggle school and working, and youth who are being caught up every day in the gun violence that is plaguing our community. I will continue to work every day with partners across our community to address this that we see happening in our community, not just with words, but with actions and policies and spending priorities. And I will keep doing what I was elected to do, which is to ask questions and do my homework and be accountable for how precious public money is spent. I look forward to working in partnership with all of our board members to do the work that we were elected to do, to best address the needs of our community and make best use of the incredible resources we have in Durham County government with the help of our talented and dedicated staff to move forward and prioritize the struggles and needs of working people, people of color, our LGBT community, our refugees, immigrants, seniors, and our children. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Jacobs. Are there any other comments by other commissioners? Thank you. We've got a lot of work to do, commissioners, and a couple of things before we move forward so that the public knows. There are a couple of things that we will look to address right away. And I think the community is expecting us to address things that has come out of the investigation that had to do with the former commissioners. It had nothing to do with our new commissioners, but they're walking into a situation that has been created by the former board. So for us as a board to really drill down on our board relationships, there's some things that I'm going to request that we do as soon as possible, and that would be training around management relations, around manager commissioner relationships, and the racial equity institute training, so that we have that conversation sooner than later. So I want to put those on the table right away, so that and ask the staff, manager, and the attorney if they will go ahead and see if we can get those things lined up for us as a board around the 1st of January. And we can have more conversations about it, but at our first work session in January. Thank you. So the next item on the agenda is the approval of the 2021 bond Board of County Commissioners meeting schedule. No, the bond is the first thing. The bond is the approval of the public officials bond is the first item on the agenda.
Madam Chair, I would move approval of the public officials bond.
Do you have a second?
I'm sorry, Chair Howardson, first we need to suspend the rules for the vote.
Okay, so
In that case,
I gotta get a motion.
in that case, I move to suspend the rules so that we may vote this
A
work session.
second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, do we need to call the roll for this, Laurel, or we could just take an aye?
We'll need to do a voice vote, I'm sorry.
Voice vote, okay. All right, Commissioner Jacobs? Commissioner Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Alam?
Aye.
Commissioner Burns?
Aye.
Commissioner Carter made the motion, and I'm an aye. Okay. It's all approved of 5-0. And now we ask for a motion for approval of the bond.
So moved.
Get a second?
Second.
And a voice vote. We'll start with Commissioner Burns.
Aye.
Commissioner Alam.
Aye.
Commissioner Carter.
Aye.
And Commissioner Jacobs.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. 5-0. Thank you. All right, and our next item is approval of the 2021 bond Board of County Commissioners meeting schedule. So was there any concerns about the schedule? Mr. Jacobs?
Yeah, I just wanted to note, Monica, I'm pretty sure, I know that you pushed back the work session for September to that Tuesday, because Monday was Labor Day, but Tuesday is actually Rosh Hashanah. So I think we need to look at, unfortunately, another option for that.
Okay, were there any others? Okay, so We got a motion to approve all except that one. What date was that, Commissioner Jacobs?
September 7th. It's the September work session.
Okay, so can we get a motion to approve all except for that one?
I motion to approve the agenda as amended by Commissioner Jacobs.
Okay, we got a second?
I'll second.
Okay, and a voice vote, starting with Commissioner Alum,
Aye.
Commissioner Burns,
Aye.
Commissioner Carter,
Aye.
Commissioner Jacobs,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. 5-0. Passes. Okay. Are there any other items that we need to address on the agenda before we call for adjourn?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Carter, Commissioner Carter.
I just wanted to thank Monica for, being the mistress of ceremonies today for our swearing in. It was not the pomp and circumstance that our new commissioners deserved, but it was a wonderfully safe and socially distanced swearing in. And I have the flowers right behind me, Monica. Thank you so much. Thanks to all of our clerks. I know that Commissioner Burns and Commissioner Alum are going to come to love you the same way that Wendy, Brenda, and I already do. Just wanted to thank you.
You all are more than welcome. And it wasn't just me, it was our public information staff. They came in, our county attorney, county manager. So there were a lot of hands that were involved, but we do appreciate your thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Carter. Thank you for addressing that. And I, too, just offer my thanks. Monica has been absolutely amazing. Not just today, but this whole year with this pandemic and all the things and the hoops that we've asked her to jump through. It's just amazing the work she and her team has gotten done. And I want to address your team as well, because none of us get anything done without our team. So I just want to say thank you. And this whole way that we have to operate now, you do such a great job at making sure that we're on Zoom. So, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So if there is nothing else, this will be the quickest meeting we will have all year. So, so thank you so much. A motion for adjourn.
I second that.
So move by, I'll second it. If you want to, did you move it, Commissioner Burns? I think you moved it, right?
But yes,
She
I
made the
did.
motion.
Okay, so I'll second.
She made, Commissioner Burns made the motion.
I'll make the motion. I'm sorry. It's a long morning. I'd like to make the motion that we adjourn.
I'll second that.
Been motion and second for adjournment. All in favor? Do we have to do a voice vote for that, for everything?
Aye.
Okay. Aye. Commissioner Burns is an aye.
I say aye.
Commissioner Alum.
Aye.
Commissioner Carter.
Aye.
Commissioner Jacobs.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. We are adjourned.
Thank you.